So there's definitely a sentiment that like AI is something that we need to be afraid of and um it is coming for our jobs and could create a whole new economic era and equilibrium in which a lot of people don't have anything because AI is doing the work that they could be paid for but they're not anymore.
Yeah. Well, so
For the record, I think it's all bullshit, just saying.
get that thesis in there right at the top.
I'm sorry, I didn't put that in right at the top. I just talked about all the ways that people are worried about it, and I'm like, y'all, not that worried here.
So you're not that okay. So obviously, I've talked to other people about this too, and they are also of the belief that generally technology makes people more productive, that causes economic growth, that leads to more jobs overall, eventually. My attention was grabbed by the Department of Data piece in the Washington Post that saw what was like a 27% decline in computer programmers, though not in software developers, which, for most of us is a distinction without a difference. It could be, like the great inflation of your job title for all I
There
know.
is there is tangible job loss occurring from AI right now in this moment. Yes. That is absolutely true, and, I think it's something that the people who are most comfortable using AI tools are people who are in tech-related jobs, and, one of the best functions, if you are using an AI tool like GTP or Claude, is that it makes it a lot easier to program. So I don't know, have you ever programmed?
Me, not since high school, but I did use Claude to actually come up with an Excel formula for me the other day.
Yes, so it's like they're not so good at human things, but they're pretty good at computer things like writing a programming language, and so a lot of people have been using it to say, like, "Write code in this language," and so rather than you having to generate 1,000 lines of code, it generates it, and then you go through and check. Um, and that has led to, at least in part, a reduction of computer programming jobs, but, yeah, even then, I would say you know, you don't need to be worried about this. As like you person in the world, if you have a job in which you think you are very vulnerable to I think your worry is less about the technology. I mean, that I'm not going to tell you what your worry is, but like the concern for me is not about the technology itself. It's about how much power workers have in the economy and how poorly the economy treats unemployed people. And none of those things neither of those two things, worker power or the treatment of the unemployed, have anything to do with AI and have everything to do with the bad decisions that people in charge of the economy have made over the past 40 years.
I just want to see if I can sum up what you're saying there. You're saying you're not worried. You would be less worried about people losing their jobs to AI if we had some better way to treat them when they become unemployed.
And I feel that way about people who lose their job in recessions, people who lose their job when their firm closes and their firm did nothing related to AI, people who will be hurt by the tariffs and the retaliatory tariffs that are going to hit the US and they're going to be in trouble. And then again, like it doesn't matter where the negative shock comes from. The US doesn't treat unemployed people that well. That is the problem, not necessarily where it came from. But I think
Okay, so but then tell me why you're not that concerned about AI leading to job loss is going to throw people into this system that you've just said is bad.
well, okay. So fair point, Robin.
Thank you.
I guess there's a couple things going on. One is you have all these navel-gazy, doomerist pieces about what AI is gonna do to the economy and if it's going to remake it and humans will become less necessary in the workforce and we'll have, like, a reduction in jobs because computers can do all of them, or AI can do all of them. And I think that for the most part is like hyper overblown and mostly bullshit because this goes this goes back to what does technology do? It makes people more productive in their, like, whatever widget it is they're working on in the economy, whether that widget is an email or a computer or a sale or a piece of machinery or a piece of fabric or what have you. Technology, especially in economic terms, technology isn't computers for us. Technology is how goods become transformed before they enter the market. Technology could be how you make shoes. Like, I turn leather into shoes. How do I do that? That's a technology right there. You can have changes to technology that changes production. It's always updating and evolving. And what makes people so worried about the tech technology changes, things driven by audit like computers and electronics and things like that, is because those are the technology changes that occurred during a period of really reduced worker power. And I am of the belief that technology is an incredible fall guy. Like, it is such a get out of jail free card for all the horrible economic decisions policymakers made that stripped workers of their power and leverage in the labor market. Unionization right now is lower than it was before we had the nationally enshrined law and right to unionize in the National Labor Relations Act. Employers have fought this law so hard for the past 90 years, it is as if it doesn't exist. That does more to the inequality and wage problems in the labor market than technology ever could. It just so happens that some of it happened at the same time.
And so you think we're looking at the wrong thing.
You
It's just
absolutely picked the wrong villain. Like, the villain is that we do not give workers power in the labor market. We don't protect unionization. We don't protect increases in the minimum wage. We don't enforce the wage and hour laws that we have. We have absolutely rewarded corporate structures and buybacks that, like, put wealth way, way, way up to the top and reward companies when they pay their workers less and their shareholders more. And at the same time, we've, like, stripped away all these worker power, and we don't regulate monopsony or employer concentration in the labor markets. All of those things are occurring in our economy, and so now our technology is the bad guy. But we had incredible worker power from the 40s until about 1980, when it's not like technology froze during that time period. Like, I mean, you didn't have any, like, doomerist pieces about how air conditioning was gonna put us all out of business, or, like, telephones or telex, or, we did we had a ton of technological changes between 1940 and 1980, especially in manufacturing, and while it did create job loss, we don't associate it with, like, upending what it means to have the economy. I mean, I think now it's just a very good bad guy that is a really good distractor for what is actually going on.